David was just grabbing a beer from the fridge when a strange woman suddenly appeared right in front of him. David was confused about how this woman got into his house.
There's no money, there's no drugs.
I'm not stealing anything.
Okay, I'm sure there's a homeless shelter nearby. I will give you money for cab fare and a good meal, but please, don't blow it on more beer, okay?
I am not homeless. I live here.
David explained he wasn't some homeless guy. He just rented the place. If Elizabeth also lived here, then maybe the realtor messed up and rented it to both of them.
Don't you get it? There's probably 5 other people who paid deposits and got the keys.
Elizabeth said all the furniture here was hers.
That's my couch, that's my coffee table. Is that a ring? Have you ever heard of a coaster?
She blamed David for turning the place into a mess. Then she walked into the kitchen to start cleaning. David asked when she moved in, but when he followed her into the kitchen, she had completely vanished. He searched the whole place, but there was no trace of her. Later, David told his friend about it, but his friend thought he was just hallucinating. Back at home, David locked the door tight, but while he was sleeping, Elizabeth suddenly appeared again. She asked why David was still in her home and said she was calling the police, but when she reached for the phone...
What'd you do to my phone? Why can't I... You stay right there. I'm gonna use the one in the kitchen.
Elizabeth disappeared right in front of him again. The next morning, David called the realtor to ask who the previous tenant was. All the realtor knew was that it was a girl, but something tragic happened in the house.
So you think this girl died?
Well, you better hope so.
Trying to figure out what was going on, David visited a paranormal bookstore, looking for answers in the books. That's when the store owner came over.
Believe in this stuff?
Well, you don't, until you do.
David told him everything, so the owner handed him a big stack of ghost books. Back home, David followed the instructions, trying to summon Elizabeth again, but no matter what he did, she didn't show up. Then he remembered, Elizabeth really cared about her coffee table.
I've got a hot, moist cup of coffee in my hand. There is no coaster on this table. I'm going to set it down on this lovely mahogany.
Don't you dare!
David wanted to talk to her, but Elizabeth acted like she had lost her memory. She couldn't remember anything that happened. She didn't even know who she was.
Let me ask you, has anything dramatic happened to you recently?
Like what?
Like dying, maybe?
How dare you say that to me?
David reached out to comfort her, but his hand went right through her. Now he was sure she was a ghost, and that's when Elizabeth finally realized she was a spirit.
What's happening to me?
You're dead!
Stop saying that!
Elizabeth tried to hit David, but she couldn't touch him at all. David told her it was time to move on, to wherever spirits go. During the argument, Elizabeth fell down the stairs, but a second later, she popped right back into the room.
I'm not leaving.
Elizabeth wanted answers, so she started haunting David. She hid in the fridge when he went for a beer, laid across the TV while he was watching, and ruined his peace with horrible singing. Fed up, David brought in the bookstore owner. The owner sensed Elizabeth's presence.
It's hostile. Wants you out of here.
Actually, he's not bad.
He said she couldn't move on like other spirits, because she wasn't actually dead, but David had a very dark aura around him.
The one you're keeping in here. That's what's really haunting you, isn't it?
I don't want to talk about that.
Oh,